moment as a young person led Jennifer O'Sullivan into the New South Wales Police Force and on a path that would equip her to respond to the needs of disadvantaged people in the community. Following the police force, many personal life experiences and challenges and employment opportunities continued to prepare, strengthen and shape Jennifer to be able to understand and truly relate to people who face adversities and the power of human resilience. Her commitment to working with homeless youth utilises her years of professional and life experiences. Jennifer is currently the Executive Manager of Path to Change, an authentic leader inspired by those she has met along the way and dedicated to making a real difference. Welcome, Jen. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Holly, for having me.
Let's begin with, if you could tell us a little bit about your career path.
Okay, I left school in year 10, so I sort of didn't do the HSC thing. I did an art course which lasted for about 2 years, and that actually qualified me to get into the New South Wales Police Force. I spent, quite a number of years in the police force. It was in the period of the 80s, so it was quite a challenging period. I was stationed at King's Cross, the Roxton Central, so there was a lot of corruption in the police force at the time, and it was, having to cope with those sort of situations and also the sort of complex clients, I guess, that I worked with. Got out of the police force and spent some time, doing various different sorts of jobs, and I felt that I really wanted to work with young people. So I went to uni and started a degree in teaching and in education and did my first few pracs, and then I kind of went, well, you know what, I don't know if I really want to work with 30 young people at once. So I thought, well, I'll just see what's out there, and so I got a position as a support worker with young people with very high behavioural needs and absolutely loved it. Just really loved the opportunity of seeing young people change their lives and being able to do that. And then I worked with other behavioural young people in an educational setting, so watching them that have never sort of had an opportunity with mainstream school be able to get through some of those sorts of things, and just continued from there. And I sort of went into developing programs for the organisations that I worked for, and then became team leader and then coordinator, and then I guess just the opportunities. I am doing a social science degree at the moment, but I'm taking a break from that and I'm doing an MBA in business, just to sort of, I love learning and just, getting to know how things tick. And with social science, it's very relevant to where I'm at the moment, and the MBA is very relevant to where I want to go.
What do you believe has shaped your leadership style?
Mostly life experience, and working with young people especially, just being able to lead them and guide them, and I guess in a mentoring capacity that way, which has kind of transformed into leadership. So I think it's really important as a leader to understand where people are at. So that's really influenced by being on the front line and being, doing stuff, even the small stuff like, at the moment I'm an executive manager, but I clean the office. And, that kind of shows that I'm, will get in and get my hands dirty. I believe that the people who work with me, I'm very invested in growing them as people and making sure that they are reaching their potential, and they will be the future leaders of Newcastle, I guess. I've got some really inspirational workers that work for me, and I try and lead by example and show them that I guess it's never too late or early to start, on their career path. I believe I'm a supportive leader, and that comes from being supported by other leaders that have been in my life and given me, I guess, that bit of encouragement and direction.
Jen, what motivates and drives you?
Just being able to get out of bed in the morning and breathe and start the day, but really people motivate me. People really motivate me because they are just so resilient. I mean, I've seen so many people in situations that you would look at and go, oh my God, how are they going to overcome this? And they just inspire me and drive me to reach out to other people and say, you know what, you might be going through a hard time, but you can get up and you can move on and make choices and just change their lives. So that's what motivates me, because I've seen it happen. And even for myself and my own life experiences, I know that we are all capable of changing our lives in such a dramatic way.
What do you believe makes business unique in the Hunter?
I think working in the Hunter, especially in the non-for-profit area, I think working with other organisations in a collaborative manner and partnering up for the best outcome for the client. I think people in Newcastle and in businesses here are authentic. I also believe that it's not all about froth and bubbles and how we look and let's just look the great sort of business. It's about let's really invest into our city and see how we can transform it. I just really believe that working together in partnership and having those connections that you don't get in big cities is what makes us different in the Newcastle area.
Jennifer, to finish today, what local business person do you find inspiring?
Well, the most inspiring business person in my life is Bruce Niblett, and he is actually my father. He worked in the RAF for many years. He was in air defence and in navigation and sort of strategic defence operations and things like that. He just contributed so much to the Newcastle region when he came to Williamtown. And then once he left the RAF, he worked for Australian Defence Industries in Sydney. And then he came back to Newcastle, and he was actually sought after by Boeing in Seattle to go and do some work over there with the Wedgetail aircraft in radar and air defence. And then he left there, and then at 78 he got sought after again, headhunted again, and to be a representative for Plexus, which is a flight, the fighter flight simulators. And he was a representative for Australia and opened up the office here, and he retired at 80 years of age a couple of years ago. And for me, he's inspirational as a business person, just in his integrity and the way that he worked right through his life and his professionalism. And also because he just never stops learning. He's just finished an advanced maths course. He's just turned 82 and he is absolutely amazing. So he inspires me, and it is the most inspiring business person I've ever known.
What a lovely response. Thanks so much for coming today, Jen.
Okay, thank you, Holly, for having me.